Go on to Twitch and see if it's working.
Yeah.
And then check YouTube. Because, yeah, there's no chat, no nothing.
Oh, hey, there we go. Getting Twitch coming through.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
We've got issues here, so bear with us.
It is saying that we're live, so
Okay.
maybe there's just something.
Check YouTube.
I'm on YouTube right now.
So YouTube says we're live. Twitch says we're live.
Yep. I'm seeing our faces.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just keep going then.
Okay.
The interface does not say we're live.
That is very odd. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Shoot. Dang it. I went into autopilot mode and I said the wrong thing. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. Who we got here? We got Hoosiers, Grandpa, of the sarcastic variety.
Grandpa of the sarcastic variety.
Paint Liquor, Rattle Can, Mechanized Imposter, Law Dog, Wad Tomato N, Vector, Flapjack, Scrap, $5.95. Hello, good evening, Scrap. I'm assuming it's evening where you are. It is just turning into being afternoon for us-ish. It's been afternoon for a couple hours, but an early start to the afternoon we shall have. It's nice to see you sitting here getting some time to paint, Jason.
Yeah, we had a great stream on Saturday with all the signature crew, but I didn't get to paint it all.
I know.
They were all doing their thing, and I was sitting here. I was having to play referee to all their nonsense.
I bet it was wild.
Trying to read chat, which I did a horrible job of. We had such a great time just chatting.
Yeah.
And I was not being a very good host to chat all day. So, but I appreciate everybody. If you were here on Saturday, thank you so much for joining us. It was a fantastic stream. We had obviously Matt Seshwish and Ben Comets. Ben did an amazing job painting the warrior in like no time at all. He made Baby J look slow.
Dang.
And
well, I don't know if I can let that happen.
Well, I think you're just gonna have to live with that. That's a hard one to beat.
Ben's pretty good.
We had Louise, Vince, and John show up.
Oh, John showed up too?
Yep.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yep. So a great time was had by all. I think to a T, all of them are like, we should do this more regularly, so this might become a regular thing, which I would love. So we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I mean, it's cool that we have the ability to do that now.
Yeah.
For the longest time, we've never really had the ability to make that happen until this most recent Trench Crusade thing, but this kind of unlocked a new version of what stream can look like.
Well, I mean, we've always had the ability to. It's just not ever really putting it together.
Yeah, I should say
we didn't change anything.
Yeah. What colors are you working on for this workup here, Jason?
I have no idea. Red, gray, and bright warm gray right now.
Oakren, hello. Snock the Duck, hello. Dead Nerve, what's going on? Everyone's here. Everyone's super excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. Welcome. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Did anybody do anything particularly exciting aside from tuning in to the Saturday stream?
Sunday, we went to the Tempe Art Festival.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was that?
We go every year, pretty much, and look for various artworks for the house and stuff. And it was good. I feel like it was fewer artists this year. It didn't seem to take up as much space as it has in the past, so that, it's always like, I wonder why.
Interesting.
But we found a couple of really neat, unique artists. We got a couple of small pieces of art for the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something Jen and I love. Obviously, I love supporting artists. I also love having really cool art in the house.
Yeah.
So we got some cool stuff, and then we found an artist that does really cool metal work out of like old car body parts and turns them into, wall art. And so, pretty typical thing, but the way he did these hearts, and Jen loves her hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And he does these hearts really, really cool. And we just, on a whim, asked him, I was like, hey, we have a spot in our house that we're looking for a piece of art for, but it's a particular size. Could you make one of these hearts that you do at custom size? And he was like, heck yeah.
That's awesome.
So we got all of his information, and I think we're going to have him make a custom metal bodied heart that has, like, he can integrate like letters and numbers from license plates into it and stuff.
That's super cool.
But it doesn't look like junkyard art. Like, some people do that and it looks like junkyard art.
Yeah.
And his doesn't.
It's more like just raw metal.
Yeah, it's just raw metal. He rivets and welds and brazes and all sorts of stuff. So it's really, really neat.
It's it's really funny. This is when you're telling me that you found somebody who did metal work like that. My brain popped to, Jason.
Just do it my damn self.
No. Although that's a interesting idea. No, my brain jumped to the metal dinosaurs.
Oh, you know what? It's funny because we saw a little one there. And of course, every time I see them, I tell Jen, that's what we really need right there. Is we need like a triceratops in our front yard. To which she always says, no.
No.
Not just no, but she's kind of like a hell no with the metal dinosaur thing. So I don't think that's in my future. But we did see one.
Oh my. Mechanized Imposter reached 145 stream streak. That's like almost half a year of uninterrupted streams.
That's awesome, by the way. There's a lot of jealous people here whose streaks got broken during various outages at Twitch that were beyond their control.
Yeah.
We have a lot of viewers who had very lengthy streams get cut short during times that was not because of their fault. And Twitch is like, whatever.
T. Schmidt missed the Saturday stream, but got to play 40K for the first time in probably 6 months. Dang. That's cool. Glad to hear that you got a chance to throw down and put some of your awesome models on the table.
Hope it was worth it.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Cheater.
Yeah. Using your loaded dice and your Pro Acryl painted models.
Cheater.
Liar and cheater. Oh, Gren, we had our annual Heroes Fest. Friendsgiving kind of thing. Man, I'm still full from all the good food. I'm jealous. That's awesome.
Actually awesome. That doesn't sound bad at all.
As much as I played crazy video games this weekend, I actually ate pretty okay.
I love how he says as much as he played crazy video games. So he got to like level 70 in PoE.
I did.
Which is ridiculous amounts of playing video games, by the way.
I was a bit of a degenerate this weekend.
Like, that's ridiculous amounts of hours played.
Jason, it was a lot. It was a lot.
I know.
I mean, that in and of itself is a good indication that I genuinely enjoyed the game. In a lot of different ways that I wasn't expecting either. Like things like the story, which I thought was really cool. So,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that the one word that I would give it is it feels lazy. And that may seem odd to say because it has a lot going for it. Sure. They've done a lot of really neat things. It feels lazy compared to PoE 1.
The story?
No, the story is probably one of the most solid parts. The gameplay feels very lazy, very hastily made ready to be able to put out for people to get some money. Which they don't seem like the kind of company that's the first place that my mind would go, but it's very much done that way. It's just half-baked.
I wondered to some extent how much it is that they felt like they needed more of a guiding hand from the community to balance the game to the extent, because like with the
you would
amount
have given it away for free if you needed that.
You know what? That is a very, very reasonable point.
You would have made it free to play like it's intended to be from day one if that was what you were going for. Yep. They needed money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they brought in a lot of money. by doing this.
Oh, the substantial sum.
Over 1 million people playing.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mail the other ones out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kyle.
Same to the boat.
To the boat?
Yeah.
On a boat.
Bye.
That was Kyle. Kyle hates being on TV, so he sneaks in, sneaks out.
Mo. Santa?
Yeah, that actually was Santa to some extent.
You're right in more than one way.
Like, more than you know. That was definitely Santa Claus. Yeah, I don't know. I am having fun playing it. Don't get me wrong. And I will continue to play it. I feel like I do not appreciate the skill system as much. It's very in-depth, but it's very landlocked. It's not as open-ended as the last game was. It has everything in very specific line categories where it's harder for me to get to points on the skill tree to add in other things I want, to the point where it feels like they intended you to just kind of stay in your lane.
I think I kind of agree with that to some extent. I think part of it is that
it feels like they're making a Path of Exile that will reach a bigger audience. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
I think ultimately they're trying to change this game, and they have done so to a point to where it is not so unobtainium for a broader crowd. And I applaud them for that. I think it's just going to take me some time to consider it for its differences and to really be as interested in it as I was in the Path of Exile.
Well, I think the tricky thing too is, like, I always try and come back to this as well when it comes to like the design of the game, right? Is I'm looking at a game when I look at something like Path of Exile 2 that is not a game that has had 10 years worth of every 3 months of new expansions. Yeah. Good or bad, right? Yeah. And I think that when you break the game down, they can take a lot of information and things that they learned. Hello, Source. They can take a lot of the information and the things that they learned from their first experience, and they can bring it over, but they can't bring everything because the game is different. Yeah. It is different in a lot of ways. From the way that you progress your character to the way that you progress the end game, and there's just a lot of changes. Yeah. So I think it will be very interesting to see over the course of the next couple of months how they handle changes.
Well, they're a great company, so I don't have any fear on that part. Yeah, I think that I always look at games a little differently than I think most people do because I have such a business focus on it. Mm-hmm. And I try to dive into, okay, what would make them do this? And I think that it's been said in chat already by some of the people there that, it's trying to reach a broader audience, like I just said. Yeah. It is... I don't know that I would say it's more for the normie crowd than the hardcore ARPG, because it is the most difficult ARPG you will ever play.
Hard?
By a landslide.
It's wild.
It is super difficult. A lot of people are saying it's like, Dark Souls in that regard, that they're just making it tough to be tough. And there is some balanced stuff that the creators have said that, that we're waiting to tune based on community feedback and such. And so I do understand that part, right? But by and large, I think that it really is a weird conundrum because, like, the way the loot is not indicative of being for casual type players. It's for more hardcore type players. So it'll be interesting to watch it. Again, I think that if this were something that was that early on, that they would have given it away for free if they were looking for a ton of feedback. So I think it's fun. Yeah. It'll be good though.
To answer your question, game delay. You've never played the game. Is the goal to be exiled, or do you start out exiled? From my understanding of kind of the core lore, is that you are basically from a different civilization. You've been exiled on this continent or place called Rayclast, and it is you are just like it's you starting your life in this world having been exiled from your previous place that you were from, is my understanding.
And Snock, how you doing? I think you had mentioned, yeah, it looks like a Nurgle cultist, except without all the extra doodads. But
It's like a clean
this is
Nurgle
the
cultist.
Trench Pilgrim faction. They are crazy, maniacal, evangelistic nutcases, and so they're all barefoot. I've only got the purple base coat down for my flesh on these guys, but yeah, it's a great faction. They're very, very fierce and bloody, and sometimes half naked, and also the only faction that has a dreadnought.
They really do have a dreadnought.
A dreadnought with a dude, crushed and broken and strapped to the wheel.
So, Jason, I can tell that you are having such a spectacular time painting these models.
I'm enjoying it
because you are really knocking these out of the park.
Oh, thanks. They're going really quick.
Good.
They I don't feel like I'm spending a lot of effort on them, but they paint themselves. That's really the way that I talk about certain models.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So I got a little bit of a treat for you, gang, to show you some things that Santa just brought me. I'm going to do this kind of one at a time and throughout the stream to make you feel bad is really my goal here, as I do. And I think Jordan will probably feel a little bad too.
I haven't gotten a chance to touch any of these.
Well,
so,
I mean,
I'm a patient
man. The first thing I want to ask, chat, is what if? What if, chat? The question is, what if you had the ability, right, to just right out of the gates have a wash, right, that was maybe a magenta, right? The kind of a deal where you didn't really even have to worry about mixing anything. You could just take it and, do some cool stuff with it.
Let me go back here. Moe's Magic. Did you sleep? Not a lot. But I did sleep.
He was too busy clicking and pressing buttons, and
a lot of it was looking at and trying to figure out combos and builds and stuff, which is actually super fun. But also just killing monsters, which is also super duper fun.
Also just killing monsters.
Yeah, getting beat up on by bosses, which is also turns out pretty fun. Who we got here? Oh man. Ooh, Orno. Go team just unpacked all of my paints. That's what I'm talking about. You posted it in Discord. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Sounds like you had a great weekend.
I was gonna say, if you unpacked all your paint, sounds like we should be jealous of you.
I'm pretty jealous.
You had the great weekend.
Panic Bomb. Jordan, you missed an awesome stream on Saturday. I actually caught a little bit of it, believe it or not. I was eating lunch.
Oh, you stopped to eat?
I did. Of course I stopped to eat. That's the funny comment that I made earlier, is that given how much of a degenerate I was this weekend, I actually ate relatively okay. Which turns out that I'm an adult, so I know to treat my body nicely instead of shoving cheeseburgers and pizza in it the whole weekend. So, yeah. Came up for air. I left my house a couple of times on Sunday. Not for very long. but I did.
I was gonna say,
not for very long.
I don't know how much of this I'd buy, chat.
What did you just tell Zambies that I hit 70? That's so funny. Oh man. Route. I got to like level 12.
Okay, so I can't laugh too hard because I'm level 15 with one and 8 with another.
Yeah.
But it was it was a challenge because I started with a witch, and the class is not for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing, which is funny.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. The way minions work is garbage. I just wasn't having fun with it. The ability to point them in a direction is cool, but the fact that you have to so often is kind of garbage.
You can point them in a direction? What?
Yeah, if you press the tilde key, you can tell them where to go.
Really?
You can give them commands to open chests and all sorts of stuff. Mr. Level 70.
Look at this. I hit level 70, didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's actually like very helpful.
So I just want to, this is crazy.
What?
This magenta wash that I'm using.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Is just kind of crazy.
It's
what
amazing.
It's doing to the skin with just like, this is right out of the bottle. Like, look at this. It's just this amazing.
That's dark magenta, yeah, looks like.
No, this is magenta wash.
Oh, you sneaky bugger, you.
See? I told you you'd be mad, Chad.
Oh, you sneaky man.
What do you think? I'm over here just making stuff up? This is legit.
You are wonderful, and I'm upset in good ways. He said that like 10 minutes ago.
See?
I'm looking at chat and talking. Oh, it was probably when I was talking to Kyle's when he pulled it all out.
Magenta wash. Look
Kyle
at
came
this.
back in and talked to me.
It's kind of neat. Now, of course, I'm not using it as a wash. I'm actually painting with it. But, you know, if you get past that part, then...
I love that Samby said, what the heck? That's so funny.
What'd she say, what the heck, to?
Me being level 70. She was trying to play it on Thursday. Or Friday. Or something. I think she was playing it this weekend.
Zambies, we all knew. Okay, so here's the deal. Friday, Jordan had committed to playing Epic Imperialis.
I actually don't think I ever did.
You did. I was there. I heard it.
When did I commit to this?
That was last week with Kyle and the gang. And then you dodged out, and they asked me to play, and I was like, I couldn't because Jen and I had decided to go out and eat Mexican food. So I didn't get a chance to come in and take his place. But I was like, when they said that, I was like, well, of course he's not going to stick around and play because his game came out.
All I remember ever telling people who asked me about it was that there was no way that I was going because I was playing Path of Exile this weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's all I remember telling people.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it was miscommunication.
I was surprised that they said that you were going to go because I was like,
yeah, Jason knew.
Like
he
you
had no question in
knew
his mind
that Path of Exile was coming out, right?
That is literally my favorite game. Like it is my favorite game. I have like 2,400 hours in Path of Exile 1. Like I like that game a lot. I've always loved ARPGs. I've played them. Like I played Diablo 2 way back in the day. I had Diablo 1 on my computer back when I was living in California. Like I love playing ARPGs. It's my jam.
Okay, gang, this paint is stupid.
Yeah, this is dummy good, Jason.
This paint is stupid. I just made it to where every single one of you can paint flesh about 1,000,000 times better.
This is great. I love this. This is perfect for that kind of like, I mean, exactly what you're using it for. That kind of pale skin where you use the red.
We're doing any kind of flush areas where you want like cheeks or whatever to get a little bit more pinkish in there and not want to worry about making a glaze that you have to continually figure out. This is just, I mean, right out of the bottle, a little bit of water on the brush like we love so much. Bingo bongo. Dunzos. And look at how nice, just like our other washes, you can paint with it and it just kind of blends right in. It doesn't give you any coffee staining or anything like that. That's pretty spectacular.
Magenta wash goes burr.
Yeah, magenta wash goes burr.
This is amazing. I can't wait. What's happening? Warpgate Studios. How are you doing?
Hello.
Looking forward to seeing our faces next month at LVO. You as well.
Oh, God, don't say it's next month like that.
Jason, it's not next month.
It is, though.
Did I do it right?
No, it is. I just don't want to hear it.
Don't worry. Yeah, Gabe, I'll make sure that I work with Gabe and help him get it sorted.
I just don't want to hear it. We were talking about it this morning. I was like, oh,
Jason.
please, God, no.
We got this. What other washes were born with this new magenta? Or are we not going to tell Iterator yet? Or chat?
Wait, what? Are you saying that there's other washes, perhaps?
I think Iterator is asking. I don't think there's an assumption. I think it's a polite request to know if there are any other washes that may or may not be existing with this collection of colors that you've been teasing us all about.
God, man.
Good God, man.
Look at that. It's too good, man. I don't know. If you wanted other colors of washes, what might be some of the colors you would want?
Synthetic, can't wait to pick it up. I'm garbage at flesh. Don't worry. We got you.
This is just a great way to get some depth. I'm having too much fun here, guys. Like, that's ridiculous. Look at just by putting it in between the muscle lines on that. Right? And then just like a little bit up onto the surface of the muscle as it goes into shadow. Elbow. His weenus. Good God.
Hoosiers, shut up and take my money.
Good
Shut
God,
up,
man.
Shut up, take my money. I don't want it.
Good God. Yeah, that's really good.
Hoosiers, what are you talking about? I am reading chat. I'm literally reading it off right now.
That's really
I'm
good.
just catching up.
So, I mean, if you wanted another wash color, what might it be? A white wash? You got transparent white for that. You wouldn't really ever use that unless you wanted it more opaque anyway. I don't think a white wash wouldn't be good for much of anything.
Stronger brown wash, black green wash, dark camo, dark yellow green, green brown wash, aka disgusting wash. Hey, who got it right? Somebody got it right. Paint liquor, predicting blue wash, like Payne's Gray. Ding, 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 ding. Paint liquor got it right.
White washes are not really good for fire. What you want is like a
God.
white ink, which is what our transparent white is. Because you need more opacity for it to have a really good effect.
Ooh. Orno's got the right question here. What about the wizard's butt wash, Jason?
What the heck color is Wizard's Butt Wash anyway?
Yeah. Plaid
All
wash.
right, this one, oh my God, I can already tell you, gang. This wins.
Is this the 1-2 magenta punch with magenta Payne's Gray punch?
Yep.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Derpstick, our new wash is coming. Yes. Jason is teasing us all, including me. Don't forget, I'm also getting teased here. So we're getting teased by Jason. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, y'all done been teased.
Y'all done been teased, folks.
Get teased, nerds.
Wizard's butt wash is simply labeled bidet. Game delay.
Okay, this is just too much fun.
So when our testers So when our testers replacement matte varnish? What? Avian? Why would Slow Fuse ban you? That doesn't make sense. You can buy the Pro Acryl matte varnish right now. If you live in the lower 48. Our matte varnish is amazing. It literally blows my mind. No, it is a spray can, Avian. If you're talking about the airbrush matte varnish, that is not currently available yet.
No.
Although it sounds like soon. TM?
Yes. We're
Grumble.
hoping in the next couple of weeks. We've been saying 2 weeks for a lot of weeks, but it is coming.
Iterator. This is like a gacha game. As soon as you think you've unlocked everything, they add new stuff.
Also true.
Avian Grumble 2 weeks? What?
I'm going to start telling everybody to ask Kyle. Because
Yeah, you should do that. Ask Kyle.
Because it's Kyle that is in charge of making all that happen.
When can I make you take my money for those washes from Defray?
These will be available at Adepticon.
There you go. Adepticon. Dun, dun, dun. That's not the right tune for that at all. That
We'll let it slide.
Incorrect.
It seems about all right.
Yeah. We get the idea. The delivery was subpar, but the idea was there.
Good gosh, that's just too good.
Yeah, that looks really good. It looks especially nice against the warmth of the rust wash that you've done.
Yeah.
Or the rust filter, I should say.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea with the flesh is how do you get the flesh to not also, because, you know, flesh and rust next to one another are tough because they kind of occupy the same hue with the oranges, yellows, reds, peachy, pinks. And so being able to have the rust still stand out is key here.
Game delay. So game delay says, as I type, I'm watching while more of my Pro Acryl migrates away from my paint table over to my child's painting area.
I feel like you brought this on yourself.
I have a suggestion. Here's what you do, game delay. You open up, you buy a base set, and maybe a couple of like sweet colors like Payne's Gray or something like that. And then you put it on the table in the basement, and you open the door. You hide all the rest of the program.
And then close and lock the door.
And then you get your child to go downstairs into the basement, and then you close the door.
And then you just close the door. See you, kids. He said these kids live in the basement, though, so I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, true. We talked about this.
That was just too easy.
Paint Liquor, dear Kyle, for Christmas, I'd like one set of ...
Yeah, that was just too easy.
Synthetic darn. If I swing by the store, can I ask for it?
For the washes? We have exactly 3 bottles.
Yep. Yes, really nicely, Jason might let you touch it. Touch the bottle. That'd be a funny thing. Like, I got to touch the bottle of unreleased paint. I didn't get to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But I got to touch the bottle.
I saw it.
It's real. I saw it. Derpstick, looking forward to it. Tried to do a glaze of pink on a face I had painted with warm flesh, and I don't think I did it right. Magenta wash or pink wash would definitely make that easy.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. The washes are really well formulated for that sort of thing. I mean, with glaze and wash medium, you can definitely make washes, but I mean, the whole point of us making the bottles of wash paint is so that you have something pre-formulated for it. And all of our washes are amazing. Every single one of them. And they're so good for different things, right? Like the flesh wash is amazing over, I mean, obviously flesh. It's amazing over gold. It's amazing over silver, right? Like, it's crazy to say that the flesh wash works over silver and makes things look like rust. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, Rogue Hobbies raided us with a party of 203 people.
What?
Holy cow. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Louise.
Hi, Louise. How you doing? We have a big old pile of awesome people here.
So I'm taking, you showed up right at the right time, because I'm taking a crazy new, first time ever seen product, which is Payne's Gray Wash, and showing people real quick, just
You
splashing
guys
it on a crazy Howard the Duck here.
are getting a very awesome treat. I just have to tell you this right now.
So you can see the kind of coloring that we're dealing with. It's just going to be a
Rogue
fantastic way to bring some cool shadow onto models. Black tends to desaturate things. It gives a great darkness, but you can imagine doing a Payne's Gray Wash instead, and you just get a little bit more of a cool tone to whatever you're doing. We just got done using that and the magenta wash on our skin here.
We got the Olaf friends from Louise.
Welcome,
Bonjour.
everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Rogue says bonjour.
How was your stream? I hope everything was great.
When I tuned out to come over here and get ready, she was eating coq de asses.
I'm Jason. You want to run that by me again?
I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. That's what it said on the packaging. It was a cookie.
Whoa, what? Louise, I can literally hear that in my head. What you just said just popped out of the internet and into my ears. Exclusive.
So we're showing off some new washes. Hey, Louise. Yeah, pre-mixed new washes that will be out at Adepticon this year, which is another reason why Louise needs to come hang out with us at our booth at Adepticon this year, because Louise, I will allow you to be the first person in the world to live and in person use this.
Except for you.
Except for me.
Because you just did it. Looks great, though.
Yeah, Ultimate Side Quest says it. That's what it was. It was a Japanese box of sweets.
Welcome, everybody.
And then
we have Zambies here.
And then it's Payne's Gray.
Hi, Zambies.
Is another. And then, I mean, what if you told me also that what you were really looking for is you say, you know what, I would really like to have a darker brown that might be in the brown gray so that I might be able to do a wash that makes concrete look like concrete. I might say, well, what if I did a brown gray wash for you? What if we did that? To where we gave you another dark shade wash that was really bitchin'. And then on top of that, if you said, you know what, that's all great, Jason, but what if I wanted something that was a little bit more like a CP? Damn you.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Jason, I think you're killing everybody in the chat right now.
Right?
Like literally killing everybody.
Right? I mean, you know, like this is basically what if we took the petroleum brown and made it into a wash. So I mean, you know, I'm just saying, what if I were to do those things? And at the same time that you were asking that question, and you were also saying, you know what I really dislike about Monument Hobbies, right? One of the biggest things that people tend to not like is the fact that we never had a silver in between the bright and the dark one. You know?
I'm literally dying. Like, literally.
So what if we also made you a mid-tone silver, right?
Louise is asking if is this a set? Question mark.
Yes. 24 new colors, Louise. 24. How silly is that? How silly is that? Yeah, we have a lot of the colors here. We've been painting with number 14, which is a great new flesh tone. We have this color, which is kind of neat.
Yeah. You're going to literally kill everybody. 24. Yep. Also, Zambies.
Ooh.
I will play games with you anytime. You let me know.
So many good colors coming out. Oh, geez, what? Yeah, 24 new colors. 20. How do they taste? Says Lone Samurai. Jin's not here, so we can say they taste like donkey
taste awesome.
butt.
It's like the awesomest kind of donkey's butt that you can find. It's like premium grade donkey butt. We really went to all of the depths of awesomeness that we could do to find the best donkey butt flavor that we could find.
Yes.
And it's in these paints.
Is that a good enough neutral evil brown or neutral evil gray? I feel like that's a really good neutral evil gray. I love that one. Such a good color. And if you didn't like that one, what about a lighter version of it? That'd be kind of cool too, right?
Jason, you realize that like all of these colors are some of my favorite color? Like,
I mean, you know, it's just kind of what we do.
Who ever told you that I liked desaturated grays and browns and light colors and desaturated kind of like cool grays?
Yeah, we've got some really, really good cool grays culminating with like as a tint. This one's just fantastic.
Yes. That's an everything color right there.
It really
that
is.
color, I don't know what number it is. What number is it, Jason?
That one is number 16.
All right, so special number 16 is the everything color. I am dubbing it that now. It's the everything color.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you're painting, it belongs on that model.
And we've got a version that, if the camera can pick it up, we've got a version that's a little more blue and a little more green.
Yep. It's subtle, but it is there.
So.
Let's see here. Derpstek's asking a question. I already have a sepia wash, but I'm sure yours will be great. We'll definitely pick up the magenta wash. But what would be better for darker flesh tones? Flesh wash or magenta wash?
Well, Derpstek, the reality is you're using these in layered form. So with generally you're going to want to do whatever is your darkest shadow first. So you might do like the flesh wash first or brown wash, even depending on the skin tone, and get your darker colors nested in there. Then do the magenta around the flush areas, you know, like the crevices of muscles, the cheeks, things like that. Use it more like a paint. What you're really, you know, the wash part is not necessarily meant to be like a dip it kind of wash. You're painting more with it, which is what I did here on the communicant, right? So I used the wash and just kind of nestled it into the sternum area, you know, down into the curvature of the muscle where it starts going in towards the crevices, right? And then I went back over it with the Payne's Gray, right, to bring some cooler shadow tones into the areas as it goes around into the bottom of the arm and things like that. And so it allows you to play around with it and do lots of different things. It allows you, when you're dealing with colored washes, to think of them like you do regular paint, right? You're not just taking them and putting them all over the spot anymore. You're being able to layer them, and they're just taking the guesswork out of how to layer. Makes it super, super simple for you to blend, because the blending quality of the wash is kind of baked right in, right?
So, Flapjack, I don't even want to think about how long the line is going to be Thursday morning at Adepticon.
For 24 colors? Well, and you don't even know the half of it, so.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Adepticon's going to be screwy.
Sorry, Adepticon.
It's a good thing it's at a facility that's about 100 million square foot bigger.
True. Because they're going to need it.
Yes, we will be pissing off everybody around us yet again.
Oh, it's going to be ludicrous. Wad, Tomato, desaturated browns and grays. What are you, Baby J, an Xbox 360? Excuse me, I'm a GameCube. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a good thing? I don't know what you're talking about.
I love GameCube was a great system, sort of. Really, my one of my favorite systems was Nintendo 64. I probably got the most use out of my N64 back in the day. But I don't play consoles really that much anymore. I just play PC.
I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Consoles never really got my. I had PlayStations, and the reason I had like, you know, obviously Atari 2600, Sega Genesis, you know, whatever. I had a bunch of consoles growing up.
Oh man, Flapjack, our brains went to exactly the same place,
but never spent a lot of time with them after PC games really started catching up.
Do we get Eclectic Salmon in this set?
Nope.
That one's still coming. Also, Captain Mannerings. No, pickles do not belong in burgers. They
What?
are gross and do not belong anywhere unless it's in relish.
Pickles definitely go on burgers. I don't know where this man came
To
from.
be fair, my opinion is an unpopular one. I do not care for the pickles. So I'm the weird one here, for the record. Also, yes, I agree. GameCube purple would be a great paint color.
Oh, that's right. It was just the big
Yeah.
purple cube.
Yeah. It's that's the iconic color. Is that like
I am going to alienate some people and tell them I've never been a Nintendo fan.
that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
I've never been a Nintendo fan.
I don't-
I've never had a need to get any of their games.
Yeah.
I know I've owned a Wii at one point in time for the bowling and the cool fun tennis game and things like that I thought was cool. But I just never really saw the need. I was not a big Nintendo IP fan.
Avian, I got you here right now. All right. What goes on my pizza tonight? Asking Baby J directly. Your answer is, Jason will probably like this too. Pepperoni, mushrooms, black olives. That's it. If you're feeling spicy, you can put in a little bacon.
I've had a weird relationship with putting bacon on pizza. It
Sometimes it's
never
good,
fits.
sometimes it's not.
It's funny, but it never fits. Like it just never tastes great.
You know
it's
when
not
it's-
ever bad.
You know when it's really good, Jason? I don't know if you've ever tried it this way. I get it. So when I go to Mod, I
Mhm.
get it with chicken. Chicken and bacon to me hold hands very well.
Except that chicken should never be on a pizza.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, to be fair, to some extent, Mod pizza is more like a flatbread.
Yes.
So then my mod flatbread.
Your
Because
mod flatbread. Yeah.
To be frank, they kind of are like flatbreads.
It is, yeah.
T. Schmidt, Jordan, we can be pizza friends. This is the correct topping combo. I feel like my favorite pizza topping combo, which is what I just described, is not really an unpopular one.
Chicken and bacon?
No. Talking about the pepperoni, black olives, mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
Plus or
100%.
minus
All of
bacon.
those rule. Mushrooms, it depends on my mood as to how heavy duty I want mushrooms. But yeah, I'm a Italian sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, black olive.
Yeah.
That's a pizza.
Yep. Yeah, it's good pizza. It also kind of
I'm not a bell pepper person, but I do respect the people that are like big into like bell pepper on their pizza or whatever, you know.
I like Supreme. Like I'll eat
Yeah,
the
a
crap
Supreme,
out of Supreme
I
pizza.
respect it. I hate bell pepper.
I think for me, it's a way to some extent it feels like the veggies kind of counteract a bit of the saltiness that I experience when eating like pizza. So it kind of like balances things out. Also, as I've gotten older, I just enjoy veggies more, which is a weird thing to say because I wouldn't say that I like strictly like enjoy them, but it feels right to eat them. I don't know. It's a weird thing to describe. Because like if you ask like younger me, who was like, man,
Your
veggies
ooh,
are gross.
reflex is
Yeah.
gone now.
Correct. Yeah. There's just no more ew gross when I look at veggies. I'm just like, yeah, this is just like a thing that doesn't taste bad and it's like healthy for me and stuff, and you know, has contributions to the thing, to the overall dish. Hi Jade, what's going on? Hello.
We saw Jade on Saturday.
Law dog, baby J, I hereby move to have you clockwork oranged about pickles.
Yep. I'm with you on that one. I'm not a like Jen. It goes berserk for pickles. She loves pickles. If there's ever a time where I'm like, why does that have pickles on it? She's like, give them to me. I don't care. I'll eat them all. And so she's overboard on the pickle fanatic side. I like pickles. I like pickle relish on hot dogs. Pickles on a hamburger feels not like it's supposed to be that way. But yeah, I'm not understanding the whole pickles don't go on hamburgers thing that Baby J's got happening here.
We do have a quick painting question.
Sure.
So Trooper Mike 01, should the colored Procro primers match the bottle paints of the same name? I bought dark camo green and it is not close.
okay, so right now I'm painting with dark camo green, right? And the dark camo green paint came out after the primer and was meant to be able to be a step up from it, but I didn't have a good name for that. So yeah, it's a little misleading. They are not identical. The dark camo green will highlight the first layer of your camo green.
Yeah, because what do you call it? Like dark camo green?
Yeah,
Extra dark camo
that's
green?
always a problem when we come with naming. The black brown is a little bit darker than the black brown. The primers are all tinted to be, or shaded to be a touch darker than their normal paint equivalent.
Yeah. Dead Nerve. It's crazy that a paint company gets the most hype at Adepticon. Well, first off, that's very flattering. Thank you. And also, yeah, that's hilarious.
We have a lot of people that don't like us for that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of other companies that, like when we were there at the Adepticon thing, that were kind of, a little snotty about how we're going to make things like that not affect us.
Well, you sell to the people in line.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of
I was
people
like,
were doing.
so the line is 100% your audience.
Uh-huh.
Take all their money before they get to us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they're coming to us first, which means that they've allocated whatever money that they're going to spend with us. But it's the beginning of the weekend. They got plenty of money to spend. So you got to take the opportunity and go, hey, what are you guys so excited for over there? That sounds awesome. Have you also checked out these other cool things that we have? These trinkets of some kind or miniatures that you should buy to use those fancy paints for. That is how you sell to people in line at Adepticon. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
But yeah, with 24 colors coming out, and we will be pumping the gas on the announcement of that as we get closer to the show. So I think people are going to be stoked. The colors are great. Having the 4 new washes in there. There's only one metallic. It's that mid-tone silver. So the one metallic will be in there. 4 washes. It's going to be big. Big.
T. Schmidt's asking, this is more of a statement, not really a question. It's kind of a question, though. It's been too long since Adepticon, and I don't remember. Chat did not get to pre-order paints for con pickup, did we?
We don't do any type of ordering like that, unfortunately, because it's just too much for us to deal with at the show. To have people come by and be like, hey, I placed this order, and yada, yada. It's just too hard to keep track of for us. So, no, we don't do it. But you know that you all have got an in. So, we'll hold.
Also, Bud's got a great question here. If we can't make it to Adepticon, will these be available to order online at the same time?
That is our hope. That always comes down to a production understanding at the time, Bud. Meaning that if we can produce enough before the show to put them on live at the same time, then we will. What we won't do is put them on pre-sale. So what we've done in the past is we've gone to Adepticon. You basically get the pre-release at Adepticon, and then after Adepticon, by a couple of weeks after Adepticon, we have them for sale on the site. So it will be very, very close to Adepticon, if not at the exact same time. We're hoping we have enough made by the time the show starts to put them on the site. That's our hope.
Pup Kobe. My memory might not be the best on this, but I feel GameCube purple and Twitch purple are really close. They're actually quite a bit different. So the Twitch purple is more of like a lighter, slightly warmer purple. The GameCube purple is more of a kind of blueberry purple, is like a weird way to describe it. It also has a little bit of that like plasticky grayness to it. Very subtly, but it is that like old, like slightly old school kind of plastic purple. Yeah, it's like a grape purple, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like grape.
Yeah, it's like a
like
grape
fake
purple.
grape.
Yeah, it is definitely that color. Awkwardish Panda with a question: how much Panda Tack and how many cookies do I need to bring y'all to get you to hold me one of each so my disabled butt doesn't need to stand in line?
Bunions and Cabbage says, don't announce anything cool. I have to switch from my work PC to my personal. We'll hold still for 5 minutes. Derp says, I've used camo green and yellow green to paint orc skin. What would you personally use after those two colors for the highlights? Bright yellow green works really, really well mixed into yellow green to get you where you want to be, right? That's basically what Hulk was. You know, anytime I go to green skin, I just kind of show what we did with Hulk. Immortal Hulk or whatever this guy's called. Right? And bright yellow green is what I mixed into yellow green to get it the finals. And then, you know, even beyond that, taking a little bit of faded green and letting faded green go on to the tops of the muscles, and then using a little bit of bright yellow green really thin down over the top of that too, gives you that final highlight that I can push into that more, you know, white kind of area. It's not white, obviously, but it gets you to where you can get out of a base green, you can paint something underneath it, and then go over the top of it with the bright yellow green again. This is a time where like the Payne's Gray and the magenta washes would have been perfect, because I underpainted and overpainted in order to get that kind of dark magenta feel in the muscles and the Payne's Gray and everything. And I could have used the wash after the fact to kind of go and pin those back in. Would be a great way to use those.
Welcome, Pedro. Thank you for the sub, Romeo, as well, for 4 months. Welcome. Good evening, hobby friend. Who we got here? Awkward Spanish Jordan just ignoring my bribes. I'm sure we can find solutions to getting you some paints, Awkwardish.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That I am not worried about that in the slightest. Jordan, you're so good at that. Someone should hire you as part of their marketing team for something. I don't know what you're talking about, Game Delay. Are the basic Heretic troop models the same scale as Warhammer 40k?
Yeah, like Imperial Guard, but
they're a bit larger than Imperial Guard. I actually have a guardsman on my desk next to the Heretic Trooper. But they're definitely, they feel a little bit larger, not by much.
the scale is per army though, because like his heretics are bigger than my
they are
my pilgrims.
Because remember, you can also, they're for the most part they're printed out, right? Unless you're getting the physical ones. So you can just print them at whatever size you want if you're printing them. As far as the physical ones that they're sending out, I'm not sure exactly what the scale is for those.
I'm sure it'll be just what we have, because we didn't change
likely.
it at all.
Yeah, because I think all that happened was that they got a little resupported or something. Touched up a couple things to try and get them work better on our printers, but
Yeah, we didn't scale anything.
yeah. Tech Golf, thank you for the sub. And Pedro, I'll take a look at your message once we're off stream here in a little bit. So many people talking. So many here.
Everybody had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to everybody that's new coming over from Rogue Hobbies. We had a great time over on Louise's stream. We are Monument Hobbies. We make Pro Acrylic paints and Pro Series brushes and lots of other amazing miniature hobby world components. My name is Jason. That's over Jordan over there. We have both been painting for more years than we'd like to admit.
Very, very many of them. Oh, this looks so good, Jason. Oh, the green.
You know, it is just really easy to make things in this gritty, you know, grim setting look good with desaturated military colors. So, you know, I like that we have some models with a lot of flesh. You know, growing up and doing scale modeling, you didn't get an opportunity to have, I mean, maybe you'd have a tanker with his shirt off in a diorama or something every now and then, but it just wasn't the norm. You know, everybody was in, you know, fatigue colored uniforms, whether it was German gray, you know, field drabs, you know, US olive drabs, British greens. Everybody was in a uniform, and they all looked the same. You know, and you were painting faces and hands. And so I love this, where you can then blend that in with, you know, like this guy's super pale, you know, near dead looking flesh on the communicant.
Derp6 got a question here, Jason. I'll add bright yellow green to the list. How many drops of bright yellow green and bright yellow... I'm sorry. How many drops of yellow green and bright yellow green were used to get the right tone for the Hulk?
I typically start everything 50-50 when I'm doing colors.
Yeah.
The way that Jordan and I tend to paint and teach, it doesn't mean that it always happens exactly like this, but it's in tune with it most of the time, is that you mix half and half. Because what it allows you to do, think like this. We turn 3 colors into 5 on everything we do, right? So right now I'm using dark camo green and bone, right? And so if I use dark camo green and then I mix bone in 50-50, then I can go to just bone by itself for my next color, and I have 3 colors out of 2, right? Then you can imagine if I move to a highlight here like bright warm gray, which is where I go, then I have that as a base, 50-50 with that as my second color, which is what I'm doing now. Then I use this as my third color. Then I mix these 2 together, and then I just do this. And so I basically have 5 colors out of 3. That's how we paint most of the time. Now you'll see that with what I'm doing here, I will continue to take this 50-50 mix and put bright warm gray into it. So I'm doing it a little more complicated because I don't want to lose the green as I move up to the quote unquote white that we're creating here for, you know, the linen or cloth on these models is this dirty kind of mildewed white that I'm doing. And it starts off with the green like this and then builds up. So it depends largely on what goal you have for the color. But by and large, that's how we paint everything.
Yep. Yeah. Everything that Jason just said, he and I basically tackle mixing in the same exact way. 50-50 split off, just like you were talking about. Also, y'all should just move here to Arizona because the weather out here is awesome. It is not going to be 13 degrees here on Thursday. It's going to be like 70 or 65 or something, which sounds spectacular. Jade, it's supposed to get down to 4 Thursday night. Oh, gross.
Easy math.
Ugh. Not everyone is built for triple-digit weather. Turns out humans aren't, and that's why we have AC and buildings
With AC.
with AC. I'm cold, so sounds like a good idea to me. I'll test out the AZ February weather, but the summers would suck. You're going to love the weather here in February. It's going to be great. It'll just be starting to like gear into the like slightly getting warmer side of the weather. That'll probably be like 70, 75. You might catch a 80-degree day here and there.
It was high 70s yesterday. It wasn't supposed to be quite that hot. We were also walking around out in the sun at the art festival. So it started to grind on us after a while. But yeah, it's been really pleasant.
Do they run that multiple times throughout the year? Or is it just
I think they do twice. I think they do one in the summer and one in the winter.
Is that down in downtown Phoenix?
No, Tempe.
Oh, it's in Tempe. Okay. I think I missed you saying it was in Tempe.
Yeah. Tempe Art Festival. There's a Scottsdale one too, and you know, I would assume there's probably something in Phoenix proper, but the Tempe one is the big one. It is down on Mill Avenue, close to ASU.
Nice. Okay.
And so it's down. They have a bunch of restaurants down there. It's easy to walk around and good day.
It is actually exactly 70 degrees right now.
Yeah.
So excuse me, 71. And it's 71 today. Then we have 65, 67, 69, 67, 61, 70, 71, 70, 73. Yeah, it's like perfect weather. 65 plus, like 65 to 75 is that perfect weather where it's like nice and sunny outside, not a cloud in the sky. And you can like sit down, like I did it today. Gabe and I went out to lunch today, and we enjoyed our lunch while sitting outside on a right in front of the restaurant. It was great. It was perfect. Derpstick. I have a hard time understanding what 50-50 means in terms of numbers. Oh, okay. Is it 1 drop of each color or 2 drops? Yeah, so let me explain how 50-50 works, right? So
Percentages.
it's percentages, right? So half of the mixture will be of one color and half of the mixture will be of another color. So if you have 2 drops of one, then you'll have 2 drops of the other color because they have to be equal, right?
Yeah, the funny thing is when we say 50-50 and you question, like, does that mean 1 and 1 or 2 and 2? And the answer is yes, because it's both.
It's both.
It's an equal parts of one versus the other is 50-50, meaning 50% one color, 50% the other. Means that if it's 1 drop, then you got to put 1 drop, 2 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, 3 drops. You just always the same amount means 50-50. So anytime we say that, it's basically like saying 1 to 1. 1 to 1 doesn't mean 1 drop to 1 drop only.
Yeah.
It means that you have to put the same amount of each into the mixture to get the result.
Correct. Yeah,
Makes
it has
sense?
less to do. Whenever we're giving, like, we very rarely will say 1 drop and 1 drop. We'll give you portions of the mixture because then you can mix it to however much volume you need, right? If you're painting a whole army and you're like, man, I need to mix up like a couple of bottles of this, then you might do, 20 drops and 20 drops, right? So it's easier for us to say, it's 1 part this, 1 part this.
Yeah, basically ratios.
Yeah.
Because ratios can then scale to however much material you need.
Yeah.
And you can be sure that it's going to be spot on.
And that's very common when you're looking at recipes that people talk about here in the hobby. Most of the time you're going to hear like 1 part to 1 part or 50-50, 25-75 or something like that, right? So if you can understand and begin to get an idea of how that works, you'll be better suited for most recipes that you're going to hear. But like I said, we try to simplify everything to make everything equal parts, so you don't have to do like 1 drop of this, 3 drops of this, 4 drops of that, right?
Yeah.
Because that can be a little bit of a hassle.
Gameplay says they never say 1 drop and 1 drop because they're part of big paint and they want all your money. Nobody just uses 1 drop of paint. Use 50. Then you have to buy more paint. We win.
Yep.
That's not how we'll do it either.
I want them to have my money.
Game delay. You're part of the problem.
Yep.
How does the mix work? How does the mix for the wash medium work? 50-50, 25-75? So for wash medium, for mediums in general, I typically go heavy, like say 5 to 1. So the medium is intended in most cases to be the bulk of your mixture, especially when you're diluting, like with the glazed wash medium. I typically start like 5 to 1, and then it is more of a count. It's like I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a drop of paint. But again, you're talking about dilution of paint, which is going to dilute the opacity, and you have to kind of make a decision on how much of that opacity are you trying to get rid of. You can use the glaze and wash medium 1 to 1 if you want, and it will help the paint flow a little bit better. It'll dilute it just a bit for like a heavy glaze. Like if you want to get a glaze done in 1 or 2 coats only, then you can mix less of the glaze wash. If you're doing something like I was doing on the skin here, where I wanted the magenta, right, to just kind of build up gradually on the flesh, then I can take it and I can thin it way down and then do more layers to build back up. So that's a choice too.
Yeah, Derpsic, don't worry about it at all. We are happy to help. Derpsic saying,
100%.
appreciate the answers, chat, and Jason and Jordan. Suck at figuring this stuff out. I just wing it with mixes until it feels like it's supposed to be the tone that I saw in the tutorial.
That's what we're here for.
Honestly, that what you're doing is a good thing because you are just trying things out and figuring out what mixes look like. That's a good skill to have. So even if you didn't quite understand like exactly what our terminology is for our ratios, you're still doing the legwork on trying to figure out how to mix stuff, and that skill will take you super far. Because what if somebody doesn't give you a ratio for the tutorial, right? What if they're just like, hey, I'm using this green, and then I'm going to highlight with this color, right? And they're like, what the heck? You didn't say what color this is. It's like a lighter version of that green. But once you've spent a lot of time doing what you're doing, that, okay, I know how to get this kind of color. and then you can modulate it depending on how you like. Also, what's going on, my love? How you doing, buddy? Exploration is at the basis of brain, at the basis of a good brain. Only good brains. How you doing, my love?
My
How
love.
you been?
What's happening, buddy? Yeah, paint mixing, you'll start to when you get a comfort level with it and build a confidence, then you'll find that it is less about getting lost in the numbers of how much I'm mixing and using the visual component of it to get you what you want, right? Like I haven't written a mix down for how I'm doing this white, right? I'm probably doing it different on every single model because I'm building it to the model. I know the colors I use. I know I use dark camo green, bone, and bright warm gray. Those are my colors to make my white, right? And I'm mixing them differently because I don't care. There is no reason why the cloth on her tabard has to look the same as the cloth on his head.
Well, and you got to think about this a couple of different ways, right? So when you think about a piece of cloth that is in an environment, right? You have to think about, okay, where is this cloth right now? Is it in the dark? Is it in the light? Is it overcast? Is it kind of a greenish, bluish sort of day? Because that's going to lend a different color to it when you look at it. Also, how long has this been used? Is it more worn? Is it less worn? Is it brand new? All of these things are going to affect what the color is, and they're all going to be different from each individual piece of cloth between one person that they're wearing and somebody else. So a bit of color variation is not actually a bad thing. So I feel like in general, many people who are, scared of getting started in learning how to blend or mix colors get really, really specific about, I need to make sure that this color is exactly the same every time. And the real answer is you don't really need to worry about it.
No.
In almost every single possible instance, having a little bit of variation is better than not when you think about it technically.
Absolutely.
King Tone, the best part about these streams is how willing Jason Jordan, the team, is with answering these. These are no stupid questions. There are no stupid questions.
There are stupid questions. We have not run into them in a painting session.
Correct. Yes. They're usually not genuine. And also, well, sometimes they're genuine. There are very few stupid questions, and none of these are stupid.
Yeah, there's not stupid questions when it has to do with being creative and how to lay paint on a model, because all of it is an exploration. And until you have gone through and experienced that journey, you're going to have those questions. And even long after, sometimes it doesn't click for a long time. So we love being able to, pass on what we found to you guys and gals. And we just hope it's helpful a little bit, right? Because there's no bigger truth than the fact that your eyes are your biggest knowledge base when painting. How do your brain and eye, right? And I guess your gut or your heart, how do they meld together as you're painting? Is that the color you were looking for? Then that's the mix, right? If you're going for a specific color that you see somebody else paint with, and perhaps you can't ask, because you'll see all over the internet, people like, what blue did you use? And sometimes it never gets answered. But you really like that blue. Start playing with colors and mix them together and see what you get, It'd be great if we could go out and buy the color off the shelf that we needed every single time. It's just not possible. Especially the more you start looking at the internet, because the more you start looking at the internet, fall in love with people's paint jobs and such, the more you'll find out that, oh yeah, those people used all sorts of crazy colors mixed together to achieve what they got. And so, just learning that, if it looks good to your eye, then you're done. Regardless if it's the same mix as last time or any of that nonsense. Now that drives some people crazy, and I get it. Right, some people have that kind of OCD view of it, that it's like, no, I write all my mixes down in a magazine, like a booklet, and I follow them 100%, and that's great. If that's what gets you the same emotional satisfaction, then go for it. Don't let anybody tell you you're wrong.
Or no, these streams help so much from everything and everyone involved. Thank you. We really do our best to try and communicate information and make sure you guys are learning as much as you want to learn while you're here.
Yeah, 100%.
We love it. I can speak for myself here, saying that one of my favorite things that I get to do here with Monument Hobbies is be able to teach people about all the awesome things that I have learned over my time painting. In also using the best paints around to do so. Is Jason just highlighting the hood with warm gray?
Bright warm gray.
Right. I'm sorry. Bright warm gray is what Derp 6 is.
Yep, bright warm gray. I didn't really mix the bright warm gray into my colors at all. It's just done fairly thin right over the top. The bright warm gray already has a greenishness to it, so I can kind of release the green from being used, and I get a really neat coloring. Again, like I said with these guys, given trench rot and grit and grime in the dirt of the Trench Crusade, I felt like I wanted a little bit more green.
Derp 6 is also asking if bright warm gray would look good for space sharks as the main color for their armor.
I don't know space sharks in the lore what color. I thought they were gray.
They're called Cacardons.
I thought they were a cooler gray, but a bright warm gray could be really bitchin' for the highlight on them.
Let's take a look and find out. Cardons. Yeah, I mean they're just like a gray color. I mean you could certainly use the warm gray, the bright warm gray. I would probably use the bright warm gray as more of like a highlight pass instead of just a
street sharks. With denim vests. Malev, is that where we're on now? Bill Robertson says, I've been taking traditional art classes lately, and one of the things I've realized in painting is that color variation is valued quite a bit. 100%. Right? 100%. You'll find that if especially when dealing with anything that kind of nuzzles up to realism, the eye is used to making distinguishing identification of things that are not uniform, right? Because very little in nature is uniform. Things get dirty. Where's the dirt from? The dirty things in Arizona look a lot different than the dirty things in Minnesota, right? Because the dirt is the clay in the ground, or the type of dirt that makes the soil is different, right? And so the dust and the dirt flying around in the air is very different, right? It's very light and gray and yellow here. So, because you're in the desert. And so everything after a day or two of sitting outside just looks like it has been mothballed for years, right? And not like that in other places because it's super dry here too. So the colors tend to be more desaturated here in Arizona. You don't see a lot of bright, vibrant colors when you're driving around. Everything is tinged down, a little toned down by grayishness because of all the dirt. Whereas, and so we get used to seeing it that way. And so when you're painting, I tell people, don't ever be worried that if you're painting Imperial Fists and the yellow from one Imperial Fist to the next has a little more of the base coat orange showing through on one versus the other, that's going to be great because that gives you the variation that makes the army interesting to look at. It's not a bad thing where everything's supposed to be exactly the same. If people are telling you that, then they also are not at the point in their art that they're there to get the job done. They're not there to make it interesting when it is finished. Because that color variation, the idea that you get from, having inconsistencies in the way particular parts of the model look, right? So, I do these super zooms on my models all the time so you can see. I'm not worried about perfect blends because I'm trying to get job done pretty quick. So you can see my brush strokes on the flesh there. Right? They all run left to right. It gives it a texture that makes it a little more interesting. You can see the royal purple popping out in the crevices of the skin there, which gives it kind of a weird glow. Again, it makes it otherworldly, but it draws back to, well, he looks kind of human, right? So don't be afraid to play around with color and worry less about, is the mix right? I started painting the front of him on the last stream. Then I didn't paint for a while, and today we did the highlights on the back. Did I mix the colors the same as when I was doing the front? I don't know. Probably not. Does it matter? Absolutely not, right? I think the only place it really starts to matter is if you're painting like car models or motorcycle models where they're supposed to look showroom floor new. And we don't really do that a lot. right? We're painting things that are grimdark and gritty, and there's lots going on with them, and so having the colors kind of muddy together a little bit works really well. That's why overall washes tend to work very well, because it pulls all the colors into the same environment of dirt and grime, and so that can work very well. All of those things are very important as you go on and paint, and that's hard sometimes because it's kind of like letting go. It's letting go of the narrow lane we build for ourselves, saying if I mix this color, it has to be 2 drops of this and 1 drop of this. Because what you'll find is that 3 drops of this and 2 drops of this works just as well. That's not the same ratio as 2 to 1, right? 3 to 2 is not 2 to 1, okay? But you'll find that it looks almost identical because of the way those pigments interact. So as you go along that line, if you were to write it all down, what looked good one day, what looked good the next day, you'll find there's a slight variance to how you're painting, and that's good. At the end of the day, it makes your army more interesting.
I would love to see somebody paint a showroom clean Baneblade, just
as long as it was
for the fun
gloss
of it.
black with flames.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Roll it right off the lot, everybody.
The red and yellow, like really cartoony flames with the ultramarine blue outline that they do on hot rods.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Make it
I
happen.
need a Baneblade
Somebody make
like
it
that.
happen. I want a whole like showroom floor or Imperial Guard army now.
That would be. Can you imagine like Death Corps of Krieg with showroom ready?
Oh yeah, not a speck of dust
Not
on
a
them.
speck of dust
Not
or
a
mud
speck
on
of
them.
dust. They can't be bothered to go to war. We're parade only guys. Awkward is like, send me that model.
To be fair, I think for me, a lot of the new.
I think all we have is a Stormhammer around here.
I mean, we have a lot of random stuff floating around. Too much. You know I'm down for the ridiculous. You already have a ridiculous project going on right now, Awkwardish. You making a snow globe.
All right, so that's kind of the white that I'm going for. Not really white, right? Somebody mentioned it's like military underwear white. Then I'm down for that. It feels right. That's the right color, yes.
I actually saw somebody do the whole not gross death like cleaned up Death Guard, and it is disturbing. Like without all the pustules and the
Yeah,
It's
they shave them all
so
off, and it's just a bunch
creepy.
of smiling dudes with
Yeah.
clean skin. It's like the Great Clean One model that guy did. That was so hilarious.
Yeah.
So good.
It was really gross.
So good.
It was more disturbing than the Nurgle model was.
Because it's funny because Uncanny Valley goes both directions. Right? The Uncanny Valley for Nurgle is that we know that they're supposed to be pustule-ridden tentacles, and then you make them all like your next-door neighbor, like pushing the lawnmower on a Saturday, and all of a sudden it's like, well, that's not right.
Jason, I've never seen a man in my life that looks like the Green Unclean One without pustules.
Well,
Not a day in my life.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
But at one point in time, he had a next-door neighbor who was out mowing his lawn and looked exactly like that.
Somebody earlier was gonna ask if you could compare. Let me see. Somebody was asking if we could compare the size of these models to something like from 40K.
Yeah.
I have a Space Marine and a Guardsman on my desk. The other guys.
Well, like this guy is like big Terminator size.
Oh, you have Space Marines over there too.
Right? If I put a Primaris Marine up next to this guy, right, and put him at the same foot level, then you'll see he's, a good head and a half, 2 heads taller than a Primaris Marine. But the normal guys, are more what you would expect human to Marine sizing to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that scaling is really good.
So it's what I would call 28 mil scale. It's not very heroic. It's just enough of a heroic scale to make sure that things like swords don't break. So they've thickened the things that need to be thickened, but the anatomy is pretty much where you expect it to be. It feels right. It has the right kind of sizing to it. The female to male sizing is on par. They haven't gone with like really skinny, tiny females. They look like they exist in the same world as the same size. So The heretics that Jordan is painting are a little bulkier than my guys.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that they've done that across. Now, they have different sculptors for different things, so there may be some scaling variances across the range, but I feel like having seen the stuff that's been coming out, it all works together very, very well.
Estrello, the devs didn't say, but the base sizes are all in the rulebook. So you shouldn't have any problem finding which size base goes with which model. Sun Eater is a thick lady. Yep, that model is done being painted. It is on my desk right now. And it's gross. Wait. Oh, okay. Avian, Avian and Aquadish have very similar color names, and their names both start with A.
Yes. And you get it mixed up all the
fairly
time.
long. Yeah. I was like looking at Aquadish's post saying, also my new snow globe is looking great so far. And I was like, Avian, when did you start painting a snow globe? That's crazy. No, it's fine. The colors are very similar though. Yes, Mo, the Sun Eater is larger than, I wouldn't say that it's taller, it's certainly wider.
Then what?
Than the model you're painting right now.
Oh, yeah.
The Sun Eater.
Yeah, the Sun Eater is kind of their Dreadnought guy. The Dreadnought here is much bigger. This is one of the bigger models just as an infantry style model in the game. Right. There are some of the demons that are much bigger, but, to give you an idea. We put him on a 75 millimeter base. I think in the game he's supposed to be like on a 65 or something like that.
Yes, that sounds right.
This guy's supposed to be on a 40. I put him on a 50. I don't care. I don't care. Don't get me started. To me, base size is irrelevant.
Estrello, did you use stipple paint and get that worn metal effect? Jason did not.
No. Believe it or not, all of this is noosh.
Gosh. Jason, have you looked at the artillery witch that I've been painting at all?
I have not.
Man, I did a noosh filter on that on Friday before I left, and I looked at it while I was getting stream prep today, and I was like, man, I should be using noosh more because this stuff is ridiculous.
Well, especially when what you're doing is an overall weathering effect on a model like this, and you want it done quick, and you're doing lots of them. Come on.
So perfect.
Too easy. Yeah, all of it is just our magnesium metallic, right? Followed by dark silver. And then a little bit of silver highlight, and then I wash it with black wash. And then I do a noosh mixture of burnt sienna over the top. And nooshes are subtracting weathering medium. And so that gives it the rusty feel. And then I dry brush silver back over the top of it again. It's super fast. It looks great. Right? It looks as good at small scale like these guys because it really does. Look at his chest plate. Right? Look how smooth the metallic turns out on that. It just looks like a chunk of metal that's been worn. The cuffs on this guy, the bells on this.
My favorite thing, though, is it just adds a little bit of texture. Right? If you look at the shoulder pad on the right.
Yeah.
It's like you have those little spots of stain, and then the rest of it is just kind of like a slightly tarnished silver. Or kind. But it's amazing. It's really, really, really nice.
It's super quick. Again, I love these models. I want to give them some love. I want them to look good on the table, but it's also super grim dark, desaturated color because, you're underneath a sky that hasn't seen the sun in a million years because it's just, soot and ash in the sky from all the constant warfare. And so I'm not looking for a bunch of highly saturated colors. And this is a great way to pull it all in to focus for it. and the metallic works really well. Super quick, so I can get a whole army painted in next to no time.
That dry brush layer on top of it too is just like,
yeah, the dry brushing
so
is really
perfect.
key to bring the brightness out, and also to sync the color that you put on with the noosh underneath all of the other color, which just makes it part of the painting as opposed to a wash that you put over the top, right? It looks correct. You know, you see that kind of rusty glow that comes up underneath, but when we look right at it, it doesn't look like that's really there at all. So you get a depth to the metal that feels super, super cool. Yeah, noosh all the way. It's great.
Derpstick, bright warm gray for the highlights. What would you color? What would the color below that be if you're playing Space Shark? Color.
I mean, I would go with like neutral gray.
Yeah, neutral gray would be really good.
You can start in the dark neutral gray to neutral gray and then bright warm gray on the top, and that bright warm gray will just shift the neutral gray over a little bit into that greenish gray space.
Yeah.
But you won't have green gray on everything. I think that's really when it starts to look great. I use that a lot whenever I'm painting rock and things like that. I'll use neutral grays and warm grays mixed together in various ways to make it a lot more interesting. Works like a champ.
Dark gray blue could be fun for like cold shadow.
Yep, dark gray blue
I like that.
as your base coat. Obviously, you're talking to King Dark Purple.
Yes, you are
Payne's Gray.
a fan of dark purple. Or dark plum. No, not dark plum. Royal purple. You also like dark purple a lot, though.
Dark purple on everything not flesh, and lately royal purple on everything flesh. Because I just like that extra punchy glow that the royal purple gives. It stays in view, I think is the way to say it, longer than the dark purple does. Dark purple can be so desaturated because it's so dark.
Mm-hmm. Dark gray blue could be fun, like a cool shadow. Yes, I like using cooler colors like Payne's Gray. I actually have been using a lot of dark gray blue though. But you could use blue black. You could use
Blue black's great.
Purples. I mean, obviously, dark sea Ben, right? Amazing undercoat color for something like that.
It just turn off. It's just like flickering on and off now. It's like it's doing it to audio.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it's recognizing audio.
Ooh.
Our sign's freaking out over there. It has like all these settings, and I think one of them is react to the beat. And right now it went to react to the beat mode.
I put on the they can see it. It's just freaking out.
Check it out. Oons, 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 oons.
See, whenever I say anything, it goes on and then turns off. I'm going to turn this thing off, Jason, because this thing's going to drive us nuts this whole stream.
Yes.
So give me 1 second. I'm going to turn this off so you don't have to see it. And we're going to... There we go. No. Stop. Hello? Perfect. I got it, Jason. I think. We'll see if the ghost turns
It has
it back
a mind
on
of
here
its
in 5
own,
minutes.
that damn thing.
It really does. I think it something with the RF in here is making it switch the setting when like something else gets turned on, and I don't know what it is.
100%. And we have not been able to figure out what's interfering with it.
I think it's this other one behind me, because that remote and just like when you turn one on in the wrong order, it turns on the other one. It's weird.
Yeah, we have too many
Rave Tech Elf.
too many Chinese LED controllers, RF LED controllers in here, and they're all tuned to the same frequency or something.
Papa Chicken, it is zoomed in. Jason is not painting a 3 or 4 times the the size version of this model. Although a 75mm model of this would actually probably be very cool to paint.
Comes as STLs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turns out you can probably do that.
Size it to whatever you want.
I would love to see Jason paint a xenomorph. That would be very cool. Good old-fashioned alien. Would you ever paint one of those?
I'd have done them.
Well, I know you've painted like the... I'm talking about like a real...
Yeah, the Alien movie one. We did the ones from the... I forget what the
game.
The tabletop game was called.
Yeah. I just mean like an honest to goodness like 75mm version. Where you just like go ham.
Yes and no. It's neat because it's Alien. And I'm a big fan of the franchise. So you'll catch me excited about that. But on the other hand, it's like, it's one of the most boring things ever
Not
to
if
paint.
You do all the reflections.
It's black and shiny black and dull black and dripping black and chrome.
Yeah. It would be obnoxious to paint.
So.
Like, it would be cool because you're painting a xenomorph. It would actually just be obnoxious to paint.
We when I did the miniature ones, we added some red and blue, and some environmental lighting to it to make it neat. But again, they're just, that's something that requires a diorama to really get you jazzed about it. As you can tell, I'm not painting the strips of stuff on the skirt white. In the art, it's like a military green, so that's what I'm going with here. I'm going to add this yellow green to it to give it a little bit of warmth.
I never realized it was like a military green.
Yeah.
I definitely went off book with my artillery witch. Definitely went off book. Because the artillery witch in the art is just like gray.
Yeah, she doesn't have any color.
Yeah, there's like no color. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna put some color on this. So I went
That's
with like
the thing, right?
nice
You can do whatever you want.
red cloak.
Do whatever you like.
I most certainly did. I even painted the bomb a weird color. Well, it's not that weird. It's green. Like a dark green. Miniac's latest video is about him starting an Alien Romulus diorama.
Cool.
Nice.
You must have liked that movie better than we did.
He probably did. I can believe that Scott would like that movie. I mean, to be fair, I can't judge because I haven't seen it. But I have seen Alien and Aliens, and both of those are great. One of these days I'll go and finish watching the rest of them. But every time I talk to somebody about it, they're like, don't bother. You know what I mean?
Alien 3 is a much better movie than people give it credit for.
It's so hard when literally, like, you like 1, you really enjoy 2, and then you watch 3 and you're like, what the heck? Right? Like, I can understand somebody's reservations about that, right? Because it's like, why did we do all the things in the last movie?
Yeah.
You know? And that, I think for me, that's like where my hesitation came in. I was like, man, I really enjoyed 2. And I was really happy with the ending of 2. And then I was like, really? You started out like that? What the heck?
If you read I think it's Alan Dean Foster. If you read the books.
Oh yeah, you said there was like a book in between or
There's
something?
There's a book that's supposed to have been the 3rd movie. And it is more of a, an Aliens, vibe to it. You'd have to do more research as to why they chose not to do it, probably because it was too exactly the same, it was almost exactly the same end goal. It had, like at the end, and it may be that it was written before the Aliens movie happened. I feel like that was part of the story there. Because at the end, it was like, her, running from a queen and the whole 9. So when you listen to it, it does have some stuff that's just too redone. And I can't remember what it's called.
So how much lore has actually been developed about this universe? It
Some.
sounds like a lot.
It's had comic books and all sorts of crazy crap.
Okay.
Now, how much of it is considered canon? You'd have to ask Ridley Scott, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
He's gone psycho, I think. So I don't know that.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you look at what it's his universe to do with as he wishes, but a lot of what he's done with it is just, I guess you're just trying to make money. That's cool.
People like doing that sometimes, Jason. I don't get it.
I do. I mean, I totally understand the commercialism of an idea.
Yeah.
Of an IP. Sure. It's going to make money. And if you as the creator are no longer really, just completely in love with the concepts that are coming out, maybe you're done. Maybe you've told all the alien story you want to tell. Well, and people are demanding more, and you're like, yeah, well, I don't have any more to give, really. And I don't, there's nothing more that I care about.
I try to think about it from my perspective, too, right? Like, what if I were in the position where I created this thing? Like, I mean, when did the first Alien movie come out? Like, 80s, 70s, 80s? Something like that?
Alien?
Yeah. A long time ago.
Like 80? It was in that, I don't know if it was before Star Wars or after. I feel like it was right after.
I think it was like shortly after.
Something like that.
But I try and think of it, right? Like, for one, I mean, obviously, I'm in a different part of my life, right? You go from the 80s to like 2000. Oh no.
No.
Oh.
Clean break.
That's a bummer though.
Clean break.
There's some glue on.
Clean break. I'll paint it without it, just so I don't knock it off again.
Yeah.
Clean break.
But I try to think from my perspective, right? Like, let's say I created something crazy back in the 80s, and he's probably in his like 30s at that point, right?
I have no idea.
Or 40s maybe, and then by that time you're 2005 roll around, and you're like, I'm like 60 something now, and it's like, yeah, I mean, sure, right? And then you get to like it's 2024, and you're like, I just don't care about this thing anymore. Like, think about all the other ideas and other projects that just like consume my mind instead of the thing that I created 25 years ago.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is how much of your career do you want to be tied to this one thing? I mean,
that's another question.
I don't know that anybody sets out to make or sets out with the idea in hand that, when everybody decides they love this, I've got the whole world figured out. I think more often than not, people will find that they didn't know it was going to be this tremendous IP.
Right.
And so they didn't know where it was going to go, nor did they necessarily have the want to take it there.
Yeah. Like, I guarantee you.
But fans want it to go there, and that's the hard part.
Well, I think, you put it, it's hard to bring it back to that, right? Because that first movie was just an action. It was just a sci-fi, like, thriller horror movie, right? And I cannot imagine that Ridley Scott thought that it was going to blow up and be a huge thing. There's no way. There's no way that he assumed, or any of those people assumed, that it was going to be, what it is today. So then realistically, you're like, cool, I did this one, and yeah, I got a paycheck for that. That was cool. I got to do some really cool stuff and put out some of my crazy ideas into the world. And then people are like, well, we would just want more of that because it's awesome. And you're like, well, okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. We can do another movie or two or whatever. And then like each time you're like,
hey, but how about Gladiator? How
right?
about
right? Exactly. You're like, what?
Kingdom of Heaven? How about I have all these other cool ideas?
Yeah, right. So I can definitely understand, and I think that's something that a lot of people on the internet don't do very well, is introspectively look at things and go, maybe I would be doing things similarly, or I wouldn't be as interested in making this movie awesome if I were in that person's position. It's hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes sometimes.
100%.
It is a good brain exercise, though.
Well, I think about it all the time. Like we talk about in games and books and all that. I'm like, I wonder why that person made that decision.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very easy to see when it's like, oh, you know what? I just want to make money.
Yeah.
Because this is just lazy writing, just lazy everything, doesn't progress the story. You can tell the person doesn't really feel good. I mean, look at Game of Thrones, right? George R.R. Martin just gave up on the series at some point.
Yeah.
And moved on to other things that made money, that HBO didn't own the rights to or whatever. And, the world doesn't intrigue him anymore. And trust me, I feel that. Just look at us as painters, right? I'm a bright, shiny painter. I'm like, ooh, look at that one. Well, whatever I'm painting at the moment is always at risk of getting overtaken by whatever I see next.
Yeah. And I mean, and here's my thing on that too, right? Like you look at book authors who take, 10 years to write a sequel novel or 15 years to write a sequel.
God.
And some of those people are like, well, I don't owe you guys anything. I don't owe you guys a completion to the series. And this is like, what kind of person do you have to be to like say that I'm not responsible for this thing that I created that has become larger than it originally was. Like you gotta kind of own up to it to some extent. It's like if you're gonna say that, just say you don't want to finish the series and just be done with it.
Yeah.
But you want to keep that payroll coming, so you're like, oh yeah, we're still working on it. It's so dumb. It's I authors that do that really really irritate me. Like really irritate me. Because it's like it's one thing if you acknowledge it, you're like, nope, I'm not doing that. You guys got the ending with the series. You guys didn't like it. That sucks.
Sucks for you.
I have made a lot of money off of this, and I'm gonna go use this money to go do cool other new things. But they try and like sit on both sides of the fence because they still want the following, so that they continue to make more big money. And then they're like, if they tell the truth and they say, go eat a pile of poop, then people are gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna read anything else from this guy anymore. This guy's a dick, So
also true, yeah.
Oh, seriously? George R. R. Martin finally broke down and admitted he thinks he won't finish the next book. That's crazy.
He said what?
Ashmedai says George R. R. Martin finally broke down and admitted he thinks he won't finish the next book.
Oh yeah, we've all known that forever.
Yeah. The Name of the Wind series has been waiting on its final book forever. I think it's 15 years is how long between those last books. Let's see here. Release date for what was the name of the second book? I don't even remember the name. That's how long it's been. I don't even remember the name of the second book. I'll start with the first one. The first book was released in 2007.
What is this?
Name of the Wind. So this is the other author who is notoriously bad at not writing sequels for his books. Doors of Stone is the third book. I don't remember the name of the middle book. Wise Man's Fear. Okay, so it was released March 1, 2011. Jason.
March 1st, 2011.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're 14 years, almost 14 years from the release of the second book with no idea of when the third book is coming. 14 years. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
No, I don't think he's going to finish it.
Again, that's that whole, when you get that fame, if your creativity goes off in a different direction, I guess that's the conversation is what, as an author in this case, or as a writer, whether you're writing movies or whatever, you're still, creating things in that same venue. What is your responsibility to the crowd of people that likes it? Do you even have one? Is it your responsibility to sell the license to somebody else who will go and do it? Like, George R. R. Martin did, when that doesn't turn out right, are you the one who takes the blame? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of I don't know though, because as a creative, I would not want to be held to do things I didn't want to do just because you liked it.
Yeah, it's tough, right? It's a really complicated problem because it's like, what if you have zero absolutely zero interest in finishing the series, right?
But on the
You're
other
like,
thing, it's like,
you're not gonna write
did
a
you
good
create
book.
a series that started and did not end? Because I
Correct.
think that's just irresponsible writing,
Yes.
right? Did you create a story that was meant to go on, and then you got rich off of the first book and sold a movie deal, and people started, contacting you all the time, and then you just left it hanging? Because
That's
that seems
100%
really
what happened.
crappy.
Yeah, that's 100% what happened. He wrote the first one. It took him he said it took him like 10 years to write the first one, which should be a pretty good indication that he's not or is not a very fast writer, right? And to his credit, a lot of people really like Name of the Wind. I thought it was, I don't know, maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. There are some parts that I really, really like, and there are some parts that I think are not very good.
Is it fantasy?
It is fantasy. So the story is basically about a young lutist from a traveling like a troupe of they do like shows and plays and things like that.
Sure.
And his family gets, and like his troupe get mysteriously killed off by some like weird, creepy, crazy group of boogeymen, basically, that people don't think exist. And obviously he knows that they exist because they literally kill his family in front of him, and he goes off into a stupor into like the forest for like 3 or 4 years or something, and then stumbles out and starts to like pursue his life and wanting to be smart and do things and go to school and do stuff.
Sounds horrible.
It sounds really dumb when I'm explaining it.
Don't let Baby J write your back cover.
I mean,
synopsis.
I'm not good at. I'm very, very bad at, like writing synopsis or even like explaining books. I'm really, really bad at it. I will admit that right now. Like really bad at this. So don't.
I'm not a fantasy book reader very often. It's hard to get me involved in fantasy because they tend to all run together for me. Sci-fi is much easier to come up with unique worlds than fantasy. Fantasy leans so much into its magic systems needing to be what set it apart, or maybe they come up with a different kind of big bad or something. I don't know. Whether it has dragons or not, I don't know. It seems very much more landlocked than sci-fi. Sci-fi can deal with way more than fantasy can in most cases. So I typically dwell in the world of sci-fi reading.
Yeah.
I do run across some really good fantasy novels. All of them are meant to be series, and none of them ever finish. That also frustrates the crap out of me, like we're talking about.
So, yeah. So let me. I feel like I owe you a better, quick description of what this is.
Oh, I can already tell I don't care.
Good, perfect. I don't have to then.
Family murdered.
It
decides he needs to come out and educate himself so he can avenge his family.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's that. Yeah. The book basically starts as him like after his adventure is over, and he's like he owns a bar or like a what's the right term? A tavern.
And he's telling his story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's him telling his story to somebody who recognized who he was, basically, who's like a somebody who tells stories and like writes down histories and that sort of thing.
Sure.
So the story is told from his perspective. But also the problem with that is like when you have those stories, it's like those stories are told by the character writing them, so you're not like, who knows, I don't know. It's interesting. I like stories that are written from that perspective because they're interesting to listen to, or listen to in my case, or read. But I can already tell you I don't care. Can I get a sticker on a t-shirt, please? That's from Zambies. I can already tell you
I
don't
have
care.
learned in my life it's better to not mince words. I just don't care.
No, that's
You know,
great.
there's so much
I love
stuff
it.
out there that you can get exuberant about, you can get excited about, that it doesn't. And this is a shame because there are a lot of creative people out there making a lot of really neat stuff that if it doesn't catch your eye or say the right thing in the first like 10 seconds, you're like, don't care.
Yeah.
You know, don't care. I'll move on down the line, do something else.
The reason that it was attractive to me is I like stories where your main character is stupid better than everybody else. He's
Like
smarter.
Superman
Yeah.
quality better.
Yeah. But I don't like Superman because Superman's just like God, right? Like he's like a god like level of power in the universe.
I don't know. I just watched the last episode of Superman and Lois. Is that what it's called? He
Oh, is that-
dies.
Well, I'm sorry. What?
He dies. He gets old and dies. Heart attack. Heart attack. Lois dies of cancer. He dies of a heart attack.
Okay. Does he like lose his power? I don't even know. You know what? In the words of Jason, I can tell you right now, I don't care. I don't even want to know.
Super Bleeder. Dark camo green, yellow green, and faded green for the scritchy highlights. And now I'm going to take this new wash. Oh, if you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, we have all sorts of crazy stuff coming out of Adepticon, one of which is brown gray wash. We have a sepia wash coming. We've got a Payne's gray wash coming. And a magenta wash coming. The magenta wash and the Payne's gray I've used on the skin. And I'm going to use the brown gray on the skirt. And I'm just going to lather it on. I just want to see what we get.
Wad tomato. That is the best line in all of the Marvel movies, period.
What's that? I got that reference.
Puny God.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's right after the Hulk just like smashes Loki into the ground 15 times. It's great. Calls him a puny god and then he walks off.
That was when they got Hulk right, before they decided they wanted
Correct.
to go with the other one.
Oh gosh,
For some unknown reason.
hate that version. Gosh. I mean, like the fact that like he had like it's part of the character design that he has little control over turning into Hulk. Like that's the whole narrative of his character. And now they're like, we have melded together into the perfect form of Hulk.
Well, I mean, that happens in the comics.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Hulk goes through all sorts of crazy, Brainiac, combos of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, and Bruce's brain and Hulk's brawn, and working together and not working together. Yeah, there's all sorts of combos in the comic books that they tried to play around with. I am not happy with any of them that aren't just Hulk smash. I know that's very one-dimensional, but that's also Hulk. Right?
Also, Jason, it's 4:02.
What?
Yeah, I just looked at the clock.
What?
I just glanced at the clock.
We're just having too much fun. Okay.
I don't think I've ever had that happen before. That's amazing.
That wins. That's the brown gray, right? That's what we had. The brown gray gives us this.
Oh man, so good. Jason, why are you taunting me with amazing new products?
Well, because that's what my job is. If I have one job, it's to come up with amazing new ideas.
Yep.
And then taunt you with them.
Yep. Yep.
Am I even trying if I'm not doing that?
That's accurate. You make a reasonable argument, Jason.
Only reasonable?
You make a great argument. Are you gonna hang out and paint?
No, I'm gonna get this wash later on, and then we can be done.
Perfect. Let's do it. I will hang out. We will do that. We'll do things. We will enjoy this wash. This is just the washes, right? You haven't added anything to this. Did you water it down at all?
A little drop of water in it, just because I always do that. I probably shouldn't have since I'm testing, but I'm digging it.
Yeah.
It's just like all of our other washes. If you're familiar with our washes, our black flesh and brown wash, you already know what it's going to be doing for you. just different colors. And this one I am using as a wash. The others I was painting with, right? When I did the magenta and I did the Payne's gray on the skin, I was using it in a very painterly way and only putting it in certain spots. This I'm literally just slathering over the greens that we just did.
Great it is
to bring them down into more of an earthy tone, and that's working really, really well. Really, really well.
Hey Jason, when can I get some?
I don't know, chat. What do you think?
Can I has?
Can I has? The gray wash would be perfect for this month's challenge.
Too bad. So sad.
Unfortunately, I cannot give it to you for this month's challenge. But at Adepticon, you'll be able to get it. I will have it for you then. Since it already appears that it is meeting expectations.
I'm throwing some links in the chat for you folks.
Links in chat.
Links in chat. We got the store link up there. Go ahead and pick up. Well, you can't get all of the products you've seen on stream yet. However,
today is not that day.
Today is unfortunately not that day. However, there are plenty of amazing things that we have on our website. If you are here, you've seen many of them before and shall see many of them again. Join our link. Click on the link to buy some stuff.
Do the link thing.
Also, click on the other link, which is our store locator link, where you can find all of the wonderful things I was just describing nearby you at your local game store, your friendly neighborhood game store. Like that Spider-Man guy, but likes to make more money. And then we also have the Discord link where you can find what are we at? Where are we up over 5,100? We on 5,200?
I rely on other people to tell me that now.
Oh, here it is. 5,175 overly excited drop counters in the Discord.
What?
That one I
drop
don't
counters.
Get. Yeah, I read it verbatim. I don't get that one. Ghost Hunter, you're losing your edge. Anyways, come join us on the Discord for more fun and crazy entertaining conversations like the ones we've been having here on stream. Speaking about on stream, don't forget, you can find us 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Come join us. Make sure you just drop us a follow. I'm also going to put the YouTube link in here. You can also watch us on YouTube at the same time. All of our past, not YouTube, you silly fingers typing on the keyboard.
Jordan's having a hard time today, chat.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. It's too used to pressing buttons for Path of Exile. I'm having a hard time typing.
Okay.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check out the YouTube as well. All of our VODs are up there for the old streams or the past streams that you've missed. If you missed out on the Saturday stream, it's probably a good one to go back and watch. You guys are awesome. We're going to find somebody to raid. Much love out there from us. Thanks, everybody who's still here from the raid. I hope you guys have had a great time. We showed off some pretty amazing things on the stream today, which I'm sure you'll probably get to see a little bit tomorrow because Jason's probably going to enjoy testing stuff out. But I am going to find us somebody to raid, and you guys have a wonderful evening. We will see you at 2 p.m.
See you, chat.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.